In all of the 10 years, the hard work, the missing sleep, braving traffic, how did you deal with the inertia that would set in and the questions that would come up and say, is this really worth it? So how did you push through?
Is it really worth it? You know, trying to succeed on the radio, I mean, beating my head up against the wall. I mean, I did have that moment where I said, okay, you know, I have to face reality here. It might never happen the way that I originally envisioned it. But let's take Glenn Beck, for example. I mentioned him earlier. You know, you say I became like a big radio talk show host like him. I know these people personally. Same thing when I work with Dr. Laura. Use her as an example. I see the flip side. I've seen the impact of accomplishing the dream. That kind of goes back to what I said before about your dream becoming a nightmare. There's a flip side. And so when I saw that and having that window in, what would happen if I already know that it's not what it's cracked up to be? Does it have benefits to have that huge platform and that huge audience? You get your ideas out there, you get your art out there. It's a great thing. But there is that flip side. In knowing that flip side, helped me to reassess whether or not I should say, you know what, maybe this is better off as a hobby. Because I went through this with my brother too. He wanted to be a state cop more than anything. And I was 100% behind him. When he accomplished that goal, it brought me to tears. Watching him up on stage and, you know, get that badge pinned to his chest, he got it. He did it. And I remember how hard he worked. He went through the academy. There's a selection process he had to go through. And the first 2 times it didn't work out. Third time he finally makes it to the academy. He makes it through the academy. And then after a little bit of time on the road, having to pick people's children up off the road from a car wreck and having to go and tell that family that their brother, that their son is not coming home, it was just too much. He said, I can't do it. His dream became a nightmare for him. And he said, I can't do this anymore. So he adapted. And you know, I always said to him, I'm like, you know, whatever makes you happy, brother, whatever you want to do, I'm behind you 100%. And so he made that adjustment. So, you know, there's a perfect example. And in radio, it's the same thing. You know, work hard all those years, and then you get a show, and you don't get paid, and there's no support, and you have to figure it out on your own, and you just have to say to yourself, okay, is this practical? Does this make sense? You know, and so, granted, the whole time I always had my regular job. And so I always had money coming in. And I guess you could say, okay, well, maybe I could have focused more on that dream. But, man, you don't have forever. Don't live your life like you got 5 more waiting for you. Assume this is the only one you've got. And that clock is ticking. One thing we have all in common. One day we're not going to be here. You only have so much time. Spend it making your life happy. And if that makes you happy, then God bless you, go for it. But I think that in the end of the day, you know, chasing fame is not a good plan. Do what you love. And if you can make money at it, I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. If you want to be a teacher, be the best friggin' teacher on the planet. But don't kind of just walk through life, you know, figuring, oh, well, I'll just go through the motions. And because one day, poof, it's all gone. So do what makes you happy. And in my particular case, it was living a certain lifestyle and being able to afford things, being able to fix problems. And for me, that's why I couldn't be the starving artist. Because for me, true happiness and freedom and independence is what I wanted. And so I know that if I hit a certain income level, that when something came up, when my wife's car was toast, I didn't have to sit there and figure out, oh my God, what am I going to do? You know, I said, get rid of it, get your car. Now, granted, I can't just buy and sell cars like that. I'm not at that level, but it's just the ability to fix problems. When my washer was broken, you know, fix it. And that freedom, that independence to solve problems within my own life, that matters to me. It doesn't matter to everyone. Some people don't care about that. You got to make that decision for yourself. But in my case, that was really important.